Back to that Kevin Show with Kevin McCullough.
And we're back from Times Square. It's that Kevin Show, and yet to come, of course, the Music Spotlight, where we'll revisit this week's guest artist, and looking forward to that. We're talking with Peter Young, Stop the Tall Man, Save the Tiger. Two very interesting characters in a dream that his former wife had, who, Peter, as you were describing it before we went to break, I was sitting there listening to this, and when you said that your wife was tall, very attractive, and that she brought cachet to the cult peddler's message, it's so easy to see how that happens. And she was like the calling card. Well, if she the double master's degree person is believing what I have to say, then you're obviously in the wrong if you don't agree with it.
Yeah, so again, cults do come in different shapes and sizes and look differently, but they all have at least one thing in common. They have a cult leader, narcissistic, makes all the rules, but is above all the rules and has a grandiose sense of self. And so Uncle Robert checked all of those boxes, but yet we didn't have a big group. He claimed that he had conversations with former Fed Chairman Alan Greenspan, congressmen and senators. He wrote a letter to Saddam Hussein before Gulf War #2, warning him not to go to war with us. So again, he always thought he had this audience of important people who listened to him. I don't think he really did. And so thus, Page, again, was very important to him.
At some point, you come out of this and you say, I can't do this anymore. And you obviously moved on with your life. And now you've detailed it all in this memoir. Are the people that were in the group when you were there, are they still following this man?
As far as I know, they are. So I have, no contact with Uncle Robert whatsoever, nor really do I have with my old former in-laws. Unfortunately, not much with my former wife either. It was an awful breakup and divorce. And what was different with me is, most people who leave a cult, they extract themselves, and there are efforts made to not let them go. I effectively got kicked out. Again, trying to get along with my wife and save my marriage. And she was just kind of fed up because I was not following Uncle Robert closely enough. And so she decided to leave me. He, of course, readily agreed. I'm the devil, I'm the Satan, I'm a habitual liar, incapable of being saved. So in essence, I was kicked out and I was devastated, couldn't sleep, lost 30 pounds, was a wreck. And nobody knew. I hadn't told my family for 4 months what happened. When I finally reconnected with family and friends, they helped me see that, yeah, this was a cult. So yeah, I've moved on.
Talk about that moment, though, because I think it's really important to give hope to people that may be watching this and saying, I don't know, some of the stuff you're saying sounds very eerily like stuff that I've wandered into. You finally did talk to your parents, your family. What was that like? Did they have any idea at all?
Well, they were stunned. They had no idea. But they immediately supported me, showered me with love. They were there every step of the way.
Well, I'm sure that some of those conversations weren't easy to have, though. How did what was their response as you were kind of unveiling what had been going on behind the curtain?
So when I first reached out to them, I was still a wreck. And I had told them two things. Please don't say anything negative about Page or Uncle Robert. I wasn't ready to hear it. I had been brainwashed for about, let's say, 2 or 3 years. Now, my former wife, she knows no other life. Uncle Robert was an authority figure in her life before she was born because he had brainwashed her parents. But for me, it was, I was skeptical for years, brainwashed for a few. So when I came out, I just wasn't ready for some people to say, this guy's crazy. Eventually I got there, and eventually they said those things. But those people had to be patient, and they were. My family and friends were very patient.
There are people that are going through this type of thing, and the sad thing is most people in their lives won't know about it until it's too late or after the fact, like with your situation. If you had the chance to talk to somebody who by chance was listening to us at this moment, what would your encouragement be if they felt alone and felt brainwashed and felt overwhelmed by the circumstances that they found themselves in?
Well, I think the first thing to point out would be if the person is brainwashed, they're probably not going to know it. So they won't feel it. They won't recognize it. It'll be their friends and family that will recognize it in them. You only know after the fact that you were brainwashed, that you were in a cult. So really, the important thing is to recognize the red flags quickly and early.
Stop the Tall Man, Save the Tiger memoir. Peter Young is our guest, and I hope that you'll get the book and be encouraged by it. Peter, thank you so much for telling it to us tonight.
Kevin, thank you very much for having me.
And if you want to know more about what Peter's doing, authorpeteryoung.com is the website, authorpeteryoung.com. Kevin McCullough coming right back. That Kevin Show.
Ready or not, he'll be right back. That Kevin